By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks, the channel where we talk old school magic. And today we are back in Arnhem for the second round of the Camel Trophy. And just a reminder, this is a gentleman's tournament. What does that mean? It means we have no Mind Twist and no Library of Alexandria. So that is pretty sweet. And in today's match, we actually are going to see me in action. I'm playing a Eureka deck. I love this deck. I can't wait to show it to you. I can't wait to see it in action. And I'm taking on Frederik. And Frederik is playing a Lion Dib Bolt deck. So that's, of course, one of the better decks in the old school scene. So I'm looking forward to see how my Eureka deck will do against the Lion Dib Bolt deck in this matchup. Now, before I jump into the decks, I've got lovely deck photos of both of these decks. First, a message from our sponsor, 3for1 Trading. 3for1 Trading is one of Europe's leading Magic the Gathering retailers. Their online shop has a fantastic selection of high-end Magic cards, especially for vintage, legacy, and yes, old school Magic players. They now exclusively offer my community free, fully insured and fast worldwide shipping on all their high-end singles, full sets, and out-of-print sealed products. They upload new cards every Wednesday and have weekly sale offers and reductions waiting just for you. Use my code TIMMY to get free worldwide shipping on your first order over $500 or euros. Have fun ordering those cards, and thank you 3for1 Trading for sponsoring this video. And we are back and ready to dive into the decks. I'm going to start with the player on the left, that is, well, me. Let's take a look at my Eureka deck. And here we see my deck. I've called it Eureka Roads because it's basically built around Eureka and Concordant Crossroads, that combination. Maybe it's good to start off with Eureka to discuss that card first. So this is sorcery for 2 green and 2 from Legends. And I'm just going to read current Oracle text because it's a lot shorter and a lot clearer. It says, starting with you, each player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. Repeat this process until no one puts a card onto the battlefield. Meaning, even if your opponent doesn't want to play anything out, I can just continue doing what I want to do. Now, the ideal scenario here is to cast my Eureka very early in the game. Hopefully be able to ramp it up with Black Lotus, the Moxen, etc. Get it out early, have a hand full of big creatures and a single Concordant Crossroads. And the Crossroads is important because it gives all my creatures haste. So can you imagine if I can pull it off, Crossroads Nico Bolas, and I can take the hand of my opponent? Oh, that would be so evil, you know? So that's what I'm hoping for. But even if I can just have Eureka, Crossroads, and let's say like an Urnum, a Shivan, and a Trike in hand, just drop them all on the battlefield, attack straight away, hopefully halving his life total, and then next turn finish the job. You know, this deck is a lot of fun to play because it's so explosive, right? As soon as you have Eureka and enough cards in hand, you can start doing something funny. And because you need enough cards in hand, this deck also features 2 Sylvan Libraries, which of course can also help me select the cards I need, but also get a full grip of cards, and a Time Twister, and of course also that Wheel of Fortune. Like with this deck, you need all those components. You just want to draw lots of cards. You just want to find the right, you know, the right combination of cards. That's what I'm trying to say, to kind of get this deck to go off, right? In that sense, it's almost like a combo deck, right? You need your Eureka. Ideally, you also have your Concordant Crossroads, and then you can drop a lot of big creatures. Maybe one thing I haven't said about the Concordant Crossroads is the fact that it's an enchant world. So if your opponent has an Abyss is of course a problem for this deck. Your Concordant Crossroads can kill that Abyss. So that's quite like nice that the Concordant Crossroads can do that as well. Talking about the creature base, by the way, so I've made very conscious decisions here with the creature base. For example, I decided to go for 4 Triskelions instead of, you know, for example, 4 Mamoti Djinns. Mamoti Djinns would have been great in this build as well. The reason I didn't do that, though, is because you need double blue in the casting. And I'm like, Triskelion, you can always play that. If your opponent has an Abyss, Triskelion sticks. If your opponent, plays a Blood Moon, you can still play out your Triskelion. If your Triskelion is also an extra target for my copy artifacts, right, later in the game. So the Trike for me just gives a lot of advantages. Plus the Trike is a little bit of direct damage that you sometimes need to finish the game. For example, a Force of Nature would be another great inclusion in this deck. However, I feel like if you play a Trike and you have Crossroads and you attack, and you can then take your counters off, you're already dealing 7 damage. And with a Force, you're dealing 8. So it's only 1 damage of difference. Then I also went for 4 Shivan Dragons. Why? Because the Shivan is Blood Moon proof. I mean, look at my deck. If my opponent hits a Blood Moon, I'm in trouble. I mean, I've got no basic lands in here. But because I have Triskelion and because I've got Shivan, I can still continue playing. I mean, it's not pretty. I'm not happy with the Blood Moon, but I can still cast my big creatures. And then I have my Urnum Djinn. Urnum Djinn also could have been a Suchi. The reason I didn't go for Suchi was I felt like then I would go too heavily on robots, on artifact creatures, and maybe it would be too easy for my opponent to sideboard answers in. And I also figured out the 5 toughness, make sure that my Urnum wins most battles against, for example, the Suchi. So I'm like, okay, it's good, and it's 4 mana to cast. So even if I don't find a Eureka, I can still put early pressure on the board with my Urnum. But if I've got an early Eureka, it's still like a big enough creature that you're kind of happy to cast that as an extra on top of what you already have in hand, like besides the a big creature like a Shivan. If you can drop a Shivan and an Urnum in a Eureka turn, you'd be happy, right? So that's kind of my train of thought. And then, of course, I had to play with some legendary creatures because they're so cool. So I had to put a Nicol Bolas because he's the ultimate bad guy. And it feels so good to play with Nicol Bolas in your deck. Trust me, that isn't old school all about wanting to play out those cards that you looked at as a kid, but you could never afford, or you never had the proper mana base to play it out, or you didn't have the Eureka. I mean, I could only dream of a Eureka when I was 11, and now I'm able to play this card in a deck. Actually, Nicol Bolas can be quite good in this deck, so I'm really looking forward to cast it. It gives you such a good feeling. And of course, I'm playing with Solkanar the Swamp King. Solkanar the Swamp King, a 5/5 for 5 is really, really good. The problem, of course, is you need the right mana to cast it, but at least it's got no double pip in the CMC, so that's something, I guess. Anyway, this is my deck. I'm really looking forward to show it to you in action, because it's so cool. It feels so good to play with this deck. But now let's take a look at the deck of my opponent, that's Frederik. Let's take a look at his Lion Dib Bolt deck. And here we see the Lion Dib Bolt deck of Frederik, and I mean, yeah, Lion Dib Bolt, one of the more popular decks in old school. Why? Because you've got your aggressive creature base in the form of, in this case, Savannah Lion, Ironclaw Orcs, Surrender Befreed, Sarah Angel at the top end. So it really builds up nicely, like almost like a Sly build-up. And then you combine this with all the burn that Red has. So 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 Chain Lightnings. We see Fireball, Disintegrate. And then I guess he did something different. A lot of Lion Dib Bolt players will also go for 4 Psionic Blasts, basically making it like a 12 Bolt deck. What we see here is that Frederik chose a little bit of a different direction, because he went with 4 Swords to Plowshares. And 4 Swords to Plowshares is actually quite good in this matchup, but in a lot of cases the swords can do the opposite of what you want to achieve, right? Because you're playing a lot of burn, you want to kill your opponent as quickly as possible, right? This is really an aggro list. And then with Swords to Plowshares, you're giving life to your opponent instead of taking life away. But again, I think in this matchup, Frederik, you're spot on, because you're going to play probably against some really big creatures that you cannot get rid of with a single bolt. So then the Swords to Plowshares could be lifesavers. Another, of course, big card that could be a lifesaver that's actually not in this deck is Balance. We do see it in the sideboard, but not in the main 60. Quite interesting not to put that in the main 60. I'm sure it's going to come in after our first game. Another card that I'm missing, 2 cards actually, is of course the blue power, Time Walk and Ancestral Recall. I do believe you have those cards, Frederik. I could be mistaken. Is there a reason why you kept them out? Maybe you wanted to just splash the Surrender Befreeds and that's it. That could be a reason, because we do see some power in your deck. We do see a Mox Pearl, for example. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what your line of thought was. Maybe you don't have the blue power. That could be a possibility as well. Of course, I'm not complaining that you're not playing Ancestral Recall and Time Walk, because I think this matchup for me is going to be tough enough. I think it's going to be a really close match, though. I would say 50-50. The thing why I'm saying 50-50 is, if Frederik's deck does what it does, and it's very consistent, I think, he can drop early creature threats, deal a lot of damage. Then by the time that I'm able to play my Eureka, maybe I'm already on 10, and you can kind of finish me off with burn. But if I can get a Eureka down early and play my really big creatures out early, put pressure on your life very early, then I can definitely gain, the upper hand and win the game. So this could really go both ways. But like I said, I'm a little bit worried about the super aggressive nature of your deck. The fact you're playing 4 Swords main, that's kind of scary, because that card is really good against my deck. Anyway, this is the deck of Frederik. We looked at my deck, so that means we are ready for round number 2 here at the Camel Trophy, number 7. Let's go. Game number 1, here we go. So I'm sitting on the left playing my Eureka Roads deck. Look at this, taking 3 cards on the bottom, 3 mulligans, starting with just 4 cards in hand here. Yuck. Ooh, there is an Ancestral Recall in hand though, so that makes up for a little, I guess. And 6 cards there as well. So Frederik also took a single mulligan, starting with 6. It is Frederik on the play, I believe. So at least I'm on the draw as well. That's a little bit of a silver lining here. Tropical Island into Ancestral Recall, so going back up to 6. So that Ancestral Recall, of course, really helps. And passing the turn here back to Frederik. Let's see what he can do. And he's playing an Iron Claw Orc. Turn number 2. That's what he wants to do, a 2-2. So he can start attacking straight away. I'm playing a Taiga here. And finding a Mox Ruby. Tapping 2. Are we going to see a Sylvan? No, we're going to see a copy. And then we're going to see a Sylvan Library. So a lot of action. So I'm really trying to speed up the game here. Trying to get maybe up to 6. That's really important in my deck. If I can't find Eureka, to just go up to 6 mana as fast as I can. Because then I can start playing Shivan Dragon and Triskelion. Look at this. Pressure is real here from Frederik, playing another creature. The Savannah Lions probably found from the top of the library here. So it has a 2-2 and a 2-1. So if I don't play a blocker, I'm looking at 4 more damage next turn. I would drop to 14. And yeah, it's difficult to use the Sylvan when you're playing against such an aggressive deck. And maybe, maybe I've got a Eureka on top there and a second green source. I mean, then you're really tempted to get an extra card. Just getting a single one, though. Tropical Island passing the turn. That's not great. 5 lands, or 5 mana. I mean, probably need 6. City of Brass here by Frederik. Attacking for 4. Dropping to 14. Gonna tap 3 more. There's a Surrender Befreed. Ay, 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 ay. It's not looking great. I really need to start casting some big creatures. I mean, Triskelion really helps here, because it can take care of the ground creatures. Gonna tap 6. Okay, there's the Triskelion, coming in with 3 counters, so it's a 4-4. And I can remove those counters to deal 1 damage to any target. So this is really a nice answer to the ground forces. But of course, Frederik can just fly over me with the 3-4 Serendip. Does still need to take a damage, by the way. Should go to 18. But yeah, he can attack me for 3. I would drop to 11. Yeah, that really helps, right? Just by putting something on top of your deck to remind you of the triggers. There's the attack for 3, so I'm going to drop to 11. 5 lands there. Hopefully, I'm not going to see a Sarah. Okay, no Sarah Angel, so I mean, could be worse here. Looking at the top 3 cards. Probably not going to take an extra card because already quite low. I need to find an answer to the flyer. Now remember that copy artifact is another ruby. If I can find a Shivan. Oh, passing turn though. 2 cards in hand. I wonder what those 2 cards are. I mean, maybe one of them is like a Concordant Crossroads, for example. I mean, that's quite useless at the moment. Going to drop to 8 here. That's looking really good for Frederik. If I can find a Shivan, then maybe I can still turn it around, right? Shivan would be a great blocker for the Surrender Befreed, and I can start playing a little bit more aggressive. I am counting here. What could it be? Could also consider just getting an extra card, and play Eureka or something. Depending on what I have in hand. The fact that I'm counting mana, maybe I've got Nicol Bolas there on top. That could be the case. That would be funny. Anyway, tapping 2. There's a Demonic Tutor. Okay. What to look up, though? What to look up? I mean, if I have Nicol Bolas in hand, I could go for Black Lotus, cast a Bolas. That would be pretty epic. I mean, I'm on 8. I think my priority here should be to at least find a flyer. The thing is, I cannot play out any flyers, right? I could also go for Time Walk. I know what's in my hand, of course. I won't say what's on top of my deck, but I don't because I'm going to shuffle afterwards. I mean, this is pretty tricky. Looks like I picked my card. I mean, if I have Nicol Bolas in hand, I should go for Black Lotus, play Bolas, in my opinion, because it's super cool, right? Another option is to, go for Chaos Orb, flip on the Surrender Befreed, but that's not as cool as going Black Lotus into Nicol Bolas, and I actually think that's a better play as well at this point. Because even if Frederik has an answer to the bolas, at least then, you know, his answer would be a swords and I would gain some life. Anyway, let's see what I can do. Another land. Gonna tap 2. Copy artifact. Okay. With, I guess I can now shoot the Serendip out of the sky. So in response, he's going to play a swords, of course. So in response, going to play a swords. I'm going to gain 2 life. Going to go back up to 10 because I'm only going to take, or 1 life because I'm going to, of course, going to take off the counters here to kill the Lion and Ironclaw Orc. I wonder what card I looked up. I'm not really impressed. I'm sure it wasn't the copy artifact. I'm sure of it. Anyway, dropping to 6. Passing the turn. Was it then just a land to maybe... But then why not a Black Lotus? Anyway, I've got one card probably still in hand that I looked up. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be. Finding a land. Did I look up Nico Bolas maybe? Was that the big plan? Or is that the big plan? Gonna tap. Oh, this is Bolas, right? Nico Bolas hitting the board. Wow, that is pretty sweet. 7-7 flying. I can't believe I looked up on Nico Bolas. That is insane. Oh, there we see a swords. There we see a sword. At least it's gonna buy me some time. I'm trying to remember, by the way, because I played in this tournament a while ago. So I think, trying to dig into my brain what I looked up, it has to be that Nico Bolas, right? Because why would you look up like a copy artifact? Anyway, dropping to 10 after the attack. And Frederik is out of cards in hand. I'm out of cards in hand, so maybe I can get back into it. I'm on 10. I think, I mean, again, I just need an answer. Okay, there's Regrowth. Now I can go Regrowth Tutor, and I can tutor for like a Shivan Dragon. I could also go Ancestral Recall. Just draw 3 cards, hope for the best. That's another way, another line to take. Yeah, exactly. Gonna go here for, yeah, I'm not sure. Why would I use the city? Exactly. I'm gonna go for Demonic Tutor. I guess Shivan Dragon, because I can play Shivan Dragon out. Yes, I take 2 damage from my own City of Brasses, right? Because I've got 6 mana there. Has to be Shivan, right? Yeah, exactly. Shivan Dragon. So I would drop to 8. That's unfortunate that I'm taking that damage, but it's better than taking 3 damage next turn from the Serendip. So I'm on 8. Now remember, Frederik is stopped. Oh, that is unfortunate. Oh, that's its 3rd swords. That's ridiculous. Oh, well. It is what it is. Passing the turn. There's the attack, gonna go to 10. So yeah, this is a little unfortunate for me. I felt like that regrow from the top was really just what I needed. You know, and if the Shivan could have stuck on the board, I would have been very dominant. Unfortunately for me, another Swords to Plowshares for Frederik there. At least they're now all in the bin. Let's see what I can do. Okay. There is a Chaos Orb, so I'm gonna flip now, I assume. Maybe I'm going to wait until the upkeep. Yeah, exactly. Then he takes an extra damage. Then I'm going to flip before he draws, because you don't want him to draw into a disenchant. There we go. It's a hit. Okay. Very important flip. I'm on 10. Frederik's on 13. I mean, this first game is very exciting. There we see a Savannah Lions. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. Just finding a land, though. That's not a good sign. Passing the turn. And this little line is now biting in my life total. Going to drop to 8. Need to find something. But the fact I took 2 Concurrent Crossroads and a Tropical Island. Is that what I have on the top? Oh man, this is frustrating. Working so hard to stay alive. And I'm going to get killed by this single line. Dropping to 6. Another land? You got to be kidding me. Remember, there are now 2 Concurrent Crossroads on top. They're not going to help me. Going to drop to 4. Oh, God. And Sarah Angel. This is so bad. What do I need? I just need another Shivan, right? If I can find a Shivan. Nope. Strip mine, that's it. So they're going to keep just finding lands. That's unfortunate, but what an entertaining first game here. And now both players are going to dive into their sideboards, and we will catch back up with them in game number 2. Game number 2, here we go. So I'm sitting on the left, losing the first game, so I guess I'm on the play. Frederik here taking a mulligan. It looks like, at least. That would mean he starts on 6, but of course he is on the draw. Yeah, gonna take a double mulligan here. Drop to 5 cards in hand. So remember, I had a double mulligan earlier. And here we see the hand. Can't really quite see it. But and I also took a single mulligan. Look at that, because I'm starting with 6 cards playing a tropical island. So 5 left in hand. So we're very mulligan happy here, both of us. There we see a volcanic island and a pass. Let's see what Frederik can do here. Game number 2. There's a City of Brass passing the turn, so no early pressure from him. That's good news for me. And, ooh, missing a land drop. Oh, I'm saying good news, and what happens is I'm missing a land drop. I'm jinxing it here. So missing a land drop, very, very bad. Frederik tapping 3. There's a Surrender per free. Remember, the Surrender did so much work for Frederik earlier in that first game. We see a Ruby into a Soul Ring. Gonna tap 4 and... Okay, there's Control Magic. Yeah, that is really good. Taking care now of the surrender by stealing it here. Let's hope that Frederik doesn't have a disenchant. Is of course playing with white as well. Let's see what he can do. Can he first make a land drop? But it feels good to now own this Surrender. There we see a Strip Mine. Yeah, Strip Mine really good against me because I've got such a wonky mana base. Yep, there we see a Disenchant. Unfortunate, but I mean, at least I was able to prevent 3 points of damage and take a Disenchant out of the hand of Frederik, I guess. You know, try to look at the silver lining here, but it's of course very bad news for me. Gonna tap 5. What do I have for 5? Okay, there's a Brain Geyser. So I could do Brain Geyser for 3. Trying to find more lands, of course. 6 is kind of my happy place, right, with this deck. There we see another Tropical Island. So now I've got 6 mana available. And I'm just gonna hope that Frederik is not gonna use his Strip Mine. There's the attack. Gonna drop to 17. Are we going to see more pressure here from Frederik? Maybe a Sarah Angel now. He's got the mana for it, but does he have the Sarah Angel in hand? That's the question. I guess not, because he's passing the turn, not using the strip. So that's good news for me. I've got 6 mana now. Do I have something big in hand? I hope so. Gonna tap 6. Are we going to see Shivan, for example? Shivan Dragon! 5/5 flyer. 1 red to give it +1/+0. Yeah, this is really good news for me. Now let's hope that Frederik doesn't have all those swords to plowshares again. Oh, I said it. There it is. Crazy, crazy. At least I'm going to gain 5, but this swords, oh man, those swords are wrecking my deck at the moment. Frederik taking another damage here from his own surrender. By the way, going to drop to 16. Yeah, these swords are looking so good against my deck. Another card that would really wreck my deck, by the way, is Wrath of God. Luckily, Frederik is not playing with that. Going to take more damage, drop to 19 here. Of course, I did gain 5 life from the sword, so that helps a little. But yeah, Swords to Plowshares is just ridiculously good. And here we see a Sarah Angel. He's going to take a damage from his own city, drop to 15. But yeah, I'm really in trouble now. I need more Control Magics, actually. Control Magic on Sarah would be really good here. Or at least a big flyer, another Shivan. Gonna tap 6 again. Second Shivan Dragon. Now remember, playing a full playset, so another 5/5 hitting the board. This is just what the doctor ordered. Another damage here for Frederik, so he's gonna drop to 14. I'm still on 19, which is quite nice. I'm pretty high up. I think I was quite fortunate in this second game that Frederik couldn't find like a Ravenna Lion or Ironclaw Orc early. Here we do see the Orc, but way too late in the game. Could still be useful, of course. I only have 1 blocker, so if he has another Swords to Plowshares, Then he can just attack me for 7. But luckily he doesn't. Passing the turn, really good news for me that this Shivan Dragon is sticking. Finally, I have some breathing space. Haven't seen a single Eureka, by the way, which is quite unfortunate. Gonna tap 6 again. Ooh, I won't say another Shivan, but we see a Triskelion this time. I have to say, Triskelion is looking pretty weak, right? Compared to the Shivan Dragon. In this matchup, at least. Gonna use a Bolt and 1 damage from the Trike, which is pretty sweet, to kill the Sarah Angel and attack here with the Shivan Dragon. This means he can no longer double block, which is quite nice. I think the better play would have been, let me know in the comments, to just attack, see if he's going to make the double block. Because then I could have always, made this play. I think that would have been the better decision, to be honest. But at least I'm attacking with the 5-5, putting Frederik here on 8. So playing a little bit more aggressive here, also because I'm on 19. There we see another Ironclaw Orc. Yeah, the Orcs are not really looking good at this moment on this board. He passes the turn back to me. Untap, upkeep, draw. There's a Taiga. Gonna put 1 more damage and again kill it. Okay, so I just really want to attack. Can I win it here now, by the way? I can win it. Oh, wow. Oh, finishing off in style, attacking here for 8. Game number 3. Here we go. The big decider. Frederik, of course, on the play. And I'm hoping that I can show you Eureka in this 3rd game. I have to say this round 2 match has been very spectacular. Thank you, Frederik. It's been a great match thus far. Let's see if I can win it. We're going to find out. Here we see the hand of Frederik. Well, part of the hand very quickly. I think I saw 2 Sarah Angels in there, maybe. And a duel, I think. Okay, here we see Volcanic Island, Mox Pearl, and look at this Soul Ring. Very explosive opener. And remember, he has 2 Sarah Angels in the hand. So if he has a white source, the next turn he can play a turn 2 Sarah Angel. I'm starting just with the Taiga. Do we also have a Soul Ring? I hope. Or some Moxen? Okay, oh, there's a Black Lotus. There we see a Lightning Bolt and a Wheel of Fortune. Whoa! Look at that. Only had lands in hand. So taking the 2 Sarah Angels out of his hand. Wow. That is very good. I mean, of course, I am giving him 7 new cards, which is not good, but at least the 2 Sarah Angels are now in the bin. Very explosive opening from both players here. That Lotus into Wheel, pretty sweet. But remember, I mean, Frederik, it's not that bad for him. He's drawing 7 new cards, and he already has Soul Ring and Mox Pearl on the table. Tapping 3. There's a Serendip Efreet. That Serendip is so good in this match. It's like so cheap to cast. There we see a Savannah Lion. So this is actually not great for me. 5 damage there on the board. Oh man, hopefully I got a really good hand back. I hope. Or else I could be in for a very short game here. Finding a city. And okay. Red Elemental Blast. That's pretty sweet. Coming in from the sideboard. Taking care of the Serendip. Passing the turn here. Back to Frederik. So that's a pretty sweet answer. Can of course still attack here with the Savannah Lions. But there's a big difference between taking 2 or taking 5. Going to drop to 18. I guess I don't have a Bolt in hand. That would be another nice answer to the line. But there's more pressure here. Ironclaw Orcs hitting the board. Also playing out the Mistress Factory. So again, next turn, looking at 6 points of damage. Ooh, Diamond Valley for my land for turn? That's bad. I do have a Time Walk, but playing out the Diamond Valley kind of shows to my opponent that I have no more mana sources in hand. There's a Demonic, drop to 16. Oh. I mean, it's good, but the question is, what am I going to look up? Black Lotus in the bin already, could go for Ancestral Recall. The problem is I have to wait a whole turn cycle. I guess the Ancestral is the best choice, right? Or maybe if I already have Ancestral in hand, could go for Sapphire Ancestral. I mean, let's say probably going for Ancestral here. I'm just going to assume I'm going for Ancestral. That would mean I pass the turn. Then he can swing in for 6. I would drop to 10. And then I simply have to hope that I find something with the Ancestral, right? And remember, my deck is slow, you know? Looks like I'm making a little pile of cards that I'm thinking about getting. You know, if I go for the Ancestral play, I have to pass the turn, right? I'm going to drop to 10. Then I'm going to use my city to play the Ancestral, drop to 9. And then I draw 3 cards. And even then, right? Oh, man, this is bad news. Bad news all around. It looks like I'm thinking about 2 cards. I mean, am I considering regrowing? But then you're going to regrowth your Black Loads. It's going to set you back again another turn. Like, all the scenarios in my head are going to take me at least one more turn. And I don't really have that time. Yes, I'm still on 16, so it seems odd when I say I don't have time anymore. But look at the side of Frederik. He can attack me for 6. Would drop to 10. You know, then I need another turn. I'm almost dead. And remember, Frederik's playing with a lot of burn in his deck. So really struggling to make a choice here between 2 cards. You can see me kind of flipping the cards, realizing that this is a very important decision. And I think one of the things that Frederik's deck is doing really, really well in every single game, also the game that I won, is he's putting pressure on me. Constant pressure on my life total. I don't really have time to play my own game. I just have to constantly try to find answers to his threats. Yeah, just picking a single card, passing the turn, probably the Ancestral. I mean, I'm in serious trouble here. But let's first see what Frederik is going to do. I hope I at least have 2 more turns, 3 more turns. It's going to tap 3. Are we going to see another Serendip? No, another Ironclaw Orc, 1 mana floating to animate. Exactly, it's going to swing in for 6, going to drop to 10. Ay, it's looking so bad for me. It's looking so bad. Maybe I need to play with an Earthquake in the sideboard, you know? That would be so good now. Finding an Underground Sea. Tap the Taiga. Finding a Soul Ring. Okay, gonna go to 9. Do I have a Eureka? Oh, I've got Control Magic, right? Is that what I have? Do I have a Control Magic? Control Magic, an Ironclaw Orc is so bad. I mean, it's better than not playing it, but it's so bad because Ironclaw Orc cannot block a creature with power greater than 1. So I can steal the Lion as well, but then it's going to take me a whole turn before I can actually block with it. And if I take the Ironclaw Orc, then he cannot attack with that Ironclaw Orc. And of course, it gives me an extra life from the Diamond Valley. So wow, who would have thought? The fact that Frederik only has crappy creatures really works against me at the moment. I mean, if he just had a nice and juicy, Sarah Angel, for example, that would have been a great steal. But the Sarahs are in the graveyard there and not on the battlefield. So I have to go here for the Ironclaw Orc. Oh, man. Oh, this is so bad. This is painful. Now he can swing in for 6, put me on 3, and then I'm very close to dying to a Bolt or a Chain Lightning. Oh, this is so bad. There he goes, attacking for 6. So I'm going to eat it before I take damage. So I'm going to go to 11, then I'm going to take 6. Going to drop to 5. I mean, at least I'm buying myself some time. I was really hoping that I was casting a Eureka there. But also, I didn't have double green, by the way, at that moment. Oh, there we see a Soul Ring. And he is passing the turn. So I've got one last turn. I think my hopes here is just for a crazy good Eureka. Right? Gonna tap 5, it seems. Gonna take a damage, right? Would drop to 4. Oh, Solkanar, the Swamp King. I mean, this can buy me some time, right? Because I can block and before damage is dealt. Oh, gonna go to 1. Gonna go to 1. Yeah, I think I'm dead. Right? Or not? No, I can declare a block. Then sack it to the valley. Then I can actually survive one more turn. You know, if Frederik finds another bolt, I'm forced to sack the Solkanar, then it's a whole different story, but who knows? There's another plains first. Yeah, it's going to attack with everything, so I have to declare blocks, then before damage is dealt, feed it to the valley, go up to 6, take 4, go down to 2. Doing my best to survive. No, Fireball! Ah, that's mean, man. Already had the Fireball in hand. Oh, look at my hand. 2 control magics in hand. Oh, that is so frustrating. Oh, man. I think it really shows the power of just having a lot of smaller creatures, kind of have that swarm strategy that really worked against me. And again, I couldn't find any Eurekas, right? Because that is what my deck wants to do, play out Eurekas. Anyway, congratulations, Frederik. I'm sorry, you played a great match. It was great fun to play against you. Thank you so much. And yeah, this is it. This is the match for today. Now, next week, I will be back with these 2 decks going face-to-face. Pink Weenie versus a kind of a live game deck. So 2 pretty cool decks going face-to-face for the next episode. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss a thing, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Because then you will be notified whenever I post a new video here on Timmy Talks. And before you go, please leave a like, share this on your socials, and leave a comment. All these things are free and really help the channel move forward. Talking about moving forward, you can also become a patron of the show. Check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks for all the details. And now let's go to the end scroll.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning, putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat until he's sober, putting in the longboat until he's sober. Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Rises early in the morning. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Early in the morning. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Put him in the scout to the husband's son. Put him in the scout to the husband's son. Put him in the scout to the husband's son. Early in the morning. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises early in the morning.
Igitus figitus somber kazee.